You keep thinking something's wrong with you just because you're alone. You scroll past fake smiles, edited relationships, choreographed friendships, and suddenly your mind convinces you that solitude is punishment. You think your value drops the moment you're no longer surrounded by people. You think silence is a curse. But the truth is, most people are terrified of being alone because they've never built a version of themselves worth sitting with. Solitude exposes every crack in your discipline, every weakness you try to cover with noise. Being alone doesn't make you broken, it makes you aware, and awareness is dangerous. It reveals who you are without filters, without flattery, without validation, and most can't stomach that. But you're not like them. You were built to face the void and not blink. You were designed to embrace stillness and turn it into power. While they crumble in crowds, you sharpen in silence. While they overdose on dopamine, you detox in discipline. You don't need more friends. You don't need endless conversations. You don't need people around you every damn hour to feel like you're doing something with your life. You need clarity. You need hunger. You need obsession. And none of that grows in noise. People who fear solitude are just looking for someone to distract them from their failures. But you've decided you're not hiding anymore. You've decided you're going to war with every excuse, every soft habit, every weak voice in your head that tells you to quit when no one's watching. Let them laugh, let them party, let them waste. You're not here to blend in with mediocrity. You're here to dominate every hour that used to go to comfort. Because while they chase popularity, you're chasing legacy. The world is full of men addicted to noise. Scrolling all day, laughing with people they secretly resent, going to places they don't even enjoy just to avoid the uncomfortable truth that they haven't done a damn thing with their life. But you've chosen the road most men run from. The empty gym at midnight, the grind with no praise, the long nights with no reassurance. You've chosen the path of silence because deep down, you know real men are made in the shadows, not on TikTok, not in group chats, not in parties, in the shadows, where it's just you, the weight of your ambition, and the echo of your willpower. And every second you survive in that silence, you sharpen. You become more focused, more dangerous, more unbreakable. You see, being alone isn't a setback, it's a filter. It removes everything weak from your life, the fake support, the distractions disguised as love, the people who only show up when you're winning. Solitude strips you down to your bones and asks, who are you without the mask? Who are you without applause? Who are you when nobody is watching? Most can't answer. But you building a version of yourself that doesn't need to be seen to feel powerful. Your mind is becoming a fortress. Your habits are becoming unshakable. Your confidence is becoming unkillable. You don't need anyone to remind you what you're capable of. You remind yourself every day when you get up, stay locked in and bleed in silence while they sleep in comfort. People will say you've changed. People will think you're cold. People will wonder where you went. Let them wonder. You didn't disappear, you ascended. You stopped pouring your energy into people who never deserved to drop. You redirected every ounce of attention into growth, into strength, into vision, into purpose. You became so focused on the future, the past lost its grip on you. So if you're alone right now, good. That's not loneliness, that's freedom. That's preparation. That's the sharpening of a man who is going to walk back into the world so disciplined, so dangerous, so locked in that the very people who left you behind will ask, what changed? And you'll smile. Not because they finally noticed, but because you already knew. There was a time I thought being surrounded by people meant I was doing something right. Constant messages, fake friends always around, loud rooms, cheap laughter, empty conversations. I thought that meant I was valuable, that being seen, being liked, being invited everywhere was proof of growth. But I was starving, spiritually bankrupt, drowning in noise that never filled me. And I remember the day it shifted. Not some grand explosion, no dramatic betrayal, just silence. People stopped showing up, messages slowed, nights got quiet, and suddenly I was alone. But what happened next wasn't a breakdown. It was the beginning of the most lethal transformation of my life. At first, it felt like I was being erased, like I didn't exist without their attention. The truth was, I was finally seeing reality without a filter. I realized how much of my life was dictated by expectation. I was performing for them, for approval, for fake love. I had never truly sat with myself, unfiltered, uninterrupted. And when I finally did, I saw just how far I drifted from who I could become. That silence, it cut deep. It exposed every weakness, every compromise, every time I said yes when I should have walked away. But in that silence, I didn't run. I rebuilt. Every minute alone became a rep in mental discipline, in clarity, in vision. I became addicted to the grind that no one claps for. I stopped posting. I stopped explaining. I stopped seeking comfort in distractions and started creating strength through structure. I was no longer reacting to life. I was engineering it. There was a point where I trained so hard, worked so ruthlessly, locked in so deeply that people started messaging again. Suddenly I was missed. Suddenly I was glowing up. But I didn't respond because by then I had already realized something sacred. Their absence was my greatest gift. They weren't villains. They were just the noise I had to lose to finally hear my own voice. And when that voice rose, everything changed. It told me to stop being soft, to stop compromising with weakness, to stop caring about being understood and start becoming undeniable. So I vanished into routine, into sacrifice, into obsession, into books, into late nights and early mornings, into pain, not because I hated life, but because I finally respected what I could become if I stopped wasting. There's a moment in a man's life where he has to choose, stay a boy who needs a crowd to feel alive or become a weapon in solitude. The moment doesn't come with applause. It doesn't come with comfort. It comes when the world forgets you, and instead of chasing it, you thank it. You thank the silence. You embrace the cold. You build in the shadows, not because it's easy, but because it's the only way to become the kind of man who doesn't beg to be chosen. He chooses himself. That's what solitude gave me. Not depression, not despair, but direction, laser focus, a sharpened mindset, a refusal to settle. And when the world came knocking again, it wasn't me trying to fit in. It was them trying to keep up. You want to change your life? Step back, detach from the circus. Let them laugh, let them talk, let them drift. Because the minute you go silent, they'll start hearing the volume of your growth. That's how it works. People don't take you seriously until you stop explaining yourself, until you cut ties with comfort, until your results become so loud, even your absence echoes. And when they ask, where were you all this time? The answer will be simple. I was becoming everything they swore I'd never be. Solitude is where real ones are born. It's where legends are built. It's where kings are crowned in secret. It's where men turn pain into precision and loneliness into legacy. You want your name to matter? Banish. You want your story to inspire? Suffer alone. You want to become a leader? Learn how to walk without a crowd. Because if you can't handle being alone, you'll never handle being powerful. And power is earned in the dark, far away from comfort, far away from noise, and even further away from the people who never truly believed in you to begin with. Every second you waste looking for comfort, another man sharpens his blade in silence. Another man is running while you scroll. Another man is sacrificing sleep while you hit snooze for the 5th time. That ticking sound you ignore, that's your life slipping through the cracks while you pretend you got time. You don't. Time is not a friend, it's a butcher. It carves up the weak and hands everything to the disciplined. While you're laughing at memes, someone else is forging their empire. While you're drowning in excuses, another man is engineering legacy. You're not losing because life's unfair. You're losing because you chose easy over everything. You thought showing up sometimes was enough. You thought thinking about success was the same as earning it. It's not. The world doesn't pay for intention, it pays for results. Ruthless, undeniable results. And here's the bitter truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not your motivation playlist. You are the rescue plan. You are the only thing standing between the man you are and the monster you're supposed to be. And the longer you delay, the more your potential dies in silence. Every dream you ignore becomes fuel for regret. Every workout you skip becomes armor you never build. Every hour you waste becomes a scar you'll carry when it's too late to start over. And there will come a day when you stare in the mirror and realize you're not young anymore, that the window has closed, that you played small so long you forgot what ambition felt like, that you let temporary pleasure steal permanent greatness, and that moment, that will haunt you forever. Most men live in denial. They think they'll suddenly become disciplined next week. They believe one day they'll just wake up hungry, that somehow, without pain, without loss, without war, they'll become worthy. But that day never comes, because the mind you refuse to train becomes the prison you rot in. You want success, but reject the suffering that builds it. You want respect, but avoid the silence where it's earned. You want power, but you run from the discomfort that forges it. Every man wants to be a lion, but they break at the first sign of isolation. They quit the moment the crowd disappears. But what you don't understand is that the most powerful men on earth are the ones who mastered themselves when no one believed in them. They became savage in the shadows. They became kings through pain, and they rewired their brain to love discipline more than pleasure, structure more than chaos, clarity more than chaos. Let me tell you what's really terrifying. It's not failing. It's waking up in 10 years with the same regrets, same weakness, same body, same fear, same excuses, still broke, still tired, still watching others build the life you kept talking about. That's not pain. That's hell. And if you don't start now, that's where you're headed. It won't be a car crash. It won't be some tragic collapse. It'll be slow, silent. You'll decay in routine. You'll rot in safety. Your life will be a dull echo of what could have been, and nobody will care. Nobody will mourn your wasted potential, because that's what happens when men die before they're buried. They disappear without a sound, forgotten because they refuse to rise. But here's the part most won't tell you. You're one brutal decision away from flipping the script. One moment of radical accountability can ignite a fire that rewrites your entire future. You don't need motivation, you need war. A personal war against the weaker version of yourself. The man who settles, the man who compromises, the man who trades greatness for approval. You need to wake up with fury. You need to sleep like a warrior guarding his future. You need to stop letting your emotions decide your actions and start letting your standards dictate your moves. High-level men operate on commitment, not feelings. They do the work, whether it's raining, whether they're tired, whether they're alone, because they understand every sacrifice is a seed, and every seed becomes dominance if watered with discipline. This isn't about getting ahead. This is about survival in a world designed to destroy soft men. Every system is rigged to pacify you. Every platform sedates you. Every app is a trap. You're surrounded by comfort, flooded with entertainment, paralyzed by comparison. But deep inside you, there's a part of you that's still unbroken, still dangerous, still hungry. You know what I'm talking about. That part of you that hears this and doesn't flinch. That part that knows you're capable of more. That version of you doesn't need applause. He doesn't need company. He needs silence. He needs structure. He needs you to get the hell out of your own way and let him take control. The truth is this. If you don't build yourself in silence now, you will suffer in shame later. And every day you wait, the gap widens. The distance between who you are and who you were born to be stretches, until one day it's unbridgeable. And you'll look back, not at what you did, but at what you were too soft, too scared, too slow to do. And that will burn deeper than failure ever could. You're not tired, you're undisciplined. You're not broken, you're untrained. Every time you open your mouth and say you can't understand something, that's not weakness speaking, that's comfort talking. And comfort is the language of failure. The world isn't waiting for you to feel ready. It doesn't care about your mood, your motivation, or your childhood trauma. It respects action. That's it. You either become the kind of man who moves regardless of emotion, or you get run over by the ones who do. You want to talk about dreams? Dreams mean nothing without a system to attack them. Obsession is the only language winners speak. Not interest, not intention, obsession. A fire that doesn't flicker, a motor that doesn't stall. Every man you admire didn't get there by waiting to feel good. They trained when their bodies screamed. They studied when their friends partied. They isolated while others chased attention. They buried their ego, killed their comfort, and channeled all their rage into forward motion. And while you're still asking for motivation, they're stacking results like bullets in a war room. You want to reach the top, but you hesitate when it gets uncomfortable. That hesitation is your leash. And as long as you wear it, you'll stay average. You'll post quotes, talk goals, and live the same year 10 times in a row while calling it a journey. This world is built to reward killers. Strategic, focused, disciplined machines who don't care what it costs to win. Don't confuse movement with progress. Don't confuse busy with effective. You scrolling on your phone for inspiration isn't momentum, it's self-sabotage in disguise. You're not fooling anyone, least of all yourself. You know you should have started by now. You know what's required, but instead of attacking, you think. Instead of building, you complain. You talk in circles, you wait for signs, and then wonder why your results are invisible. When you say you want to be powerful, but you're addicted to comfort like it's a drug. You say you want freedom, but you fear the silence that builds it. You say you want dominance, but you can't dominate a morning routine. How do you expect to conquer the world when you haven't even conquered your own schedule? Here's the difference. The elite don't negotiate with weakness. They don't argue with laziness. They execute. Cold, precise, daily, no emotions, no delays. The man who wins in this life isn't the one with the best ideas or the loudest voice or the most support. It's the man who outlasts the rest. The man who endures longer than pain. The man who suffers without complaining. Who fights with no witnesses, who runs when no one is watching. You want to be feared? Master consistency. You want to be respected? Earn it in the dark. You want to be free? Then pay the price. Because this life has no discounts and success doesn't negotiate. You either bleed now or you cry forever. Every hour you waste today becomes a regret that eats you tomorrow. Every excuse you make now becomes a chain around your future. Your mind is a weapon, but right now it's rusting from disuse. You've become too soft, too accepting, too patient. And patience without progress is just procrastination in a tuxedo. You dress it up, you justify it, but deep down you know it's cowardice. Real men sprint through uncertainty. They build while scared, they leap before it's safe. Because waiting is how mediocrity multiplies. If you want control, you must first dominate your impulses. Starve the weak thoughts. Destroy the lazy habits. Reject anything that softens you. Every soft decision becomes a habit, and every habit becomes your destiny. The truth, this world doesn't punish you immediately. It waits. It watches. And then one day it presents the invoice for every undisciplined day, every skipped workout, every broken promise, every ignored goal, and you pay full price with your confidence, your pride, your identity. That's the real pain. That's the internal hell no one talks about. The shame of knowing you could have been more. The ache of realizing it was always in your hands, but you dropped it. That's why I tell you, start now, not tomorrow, not when you feel like it, not when everything's perfect, now. With chaos around you, with fear in your chest, with fire in your gut. Because the man who moves in uncertainty becomes invincible in clarity. You don't need support, you need spine. You don't need company, you need courage. You don't need perfect conditions, you need personal standards that don't fold. The difference between a man with vision and a man with results is the battle he's willing to fight when no one claps, when no one sees, when no one believes. So move, bleed, rise, repeat every damn day. Because if you don't transform your life now, mediocrity will make sure you never forget you chose weakness over war. You've heard everything, you felt the pressure building, but now you're standing at the line where 99% of people collapse. That's what this moment is, a split-second war inside your mind. And it's always the same. Do you go back to comfort and decay, or do you walk into that chaos and claim what was meant for you? This isn't just motivation. This is destiny knocking with a sledgehammer, and you're either the man who opens the door or the coward who hides behind it and tells himself he'll try again next week. But next week is a trap. Next week is the graveyard of warriors. It's the escape hatch for the mentally weak. You know this. Deep inside, you've always known. The only way out of mediocrity is through consistent, cold, focused pain. The kind that makes men dangerous. You want a life most men can't touch? Then you need to do what most men can't stomach. You have to bleed in silence, grind when it's boring, suffer without witnesses, rewire your mind to find comfort in the fire, because that fire will burn away every weakness trying to cling to your soul. You're not here to blend in. You were never built for average. That voice inside you, the one screaming during quiet nights, isn't anxiety, a warning, a call to war. It's telling you time's not loyal. It's reminding you that greatness isn't an accident. It's carved by the obsessed. Men who choose to rise every time they fall. Men who keep going long after the hype dies. Men who replace dopamine with dominance. You want to win? Then stop looking for balance and start choosing obsession. The world was never changed by balanced men. It was conquered by maniacs with purpose. And don't wait for a perfect start. That idea is poison. That mindset is slavery with a pretty face. Start now, start broken, start with pain in your chest and fear in your spine. Because life doesn't pause while you build confidence. You build it while moving through chaos, while bleeding, while failing forward. You think the greats waited to feel ready? They moved in storms. They acted in silence. They kept swinging when the world ignored them. And every time you don't show up, someone else does. Someone who's hungrier. Someone who's not waiting for motivation to land in their lap. They're already running. While you overthink, they execute. While you daydream, they dominate. And when the dust settles, they'll own the life you kept talking about. There's a version of you 10 years from now that either thanks you or hates you. That version is being built by every choice you make when no one's watching, every skipped workout, every hour wasted, every day delayed. Those are the bricks in the wall separating you from the man you were born to become. But the beautiful truth is this: you can destroy that wall right now. You can change the trajectory of your life in one violent decision to never go back. One commitment so unbreakable, so brutal, that it redefines who you are. Not a guy trying, not a man hoping, but a weapon forged from fire, fury, and focus. From that day forward, you never fold, you never explain, you never lower your standards to fit in with the weak, because you're not like them. You weren't made to be understood. You were built to be legendary. So what are you waiting for? Another failure? Another heartbreak, another fake friend to disappoint you into change? Why are you handing your evolution to pain when you could command it with discipline? Stop reacting, start building. Design your reality like your life depends on it, because it does. Every man walking this earth will die. That's not negotiable. But very few will ever live. And those that do, they chose pain now so they could taste freedom later. They chose structure over chaos, sacrifice over pleasure, purpose over popularity. They went to war with themselves until they killed the weakness. They didn't ask for a map, they became the compass.